Welcome, everyone, to Two Guys in Hockey Talk Season 7 Trade Talks. We've got two big trades on the docket, Evan, and I know we normally are here every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, but you guys are getting a quick exclusive of what's been going on in the NHL because, Evan, it's been a busy couple of 24 hours. Now, I want to get into the big trades that are happening, but first, the Edmonton Oilers have finally acquired Tristan Jarry from the Pittsburgh Penguins. And they also get Samuel Pawel, a forward. So, in return, Pittsburgh receives and the Edmonton Oilers ship out Stuart Skinner, Brett Kulak, who are both in their final year of their deal, and a 2029 second-round draft pick. Your initial reaction and thoughts to this trade for both teams?
Well, I think this was long overdue. Everyone thought that this was coming in the offseason, couldn't make it happen. They were dealing with cap structure. There was a focus that they wanted to bring a higher paid goaltender in. Were they going to absorb and have some retention on a player? Because they want to still do shopping at the trade deadline. It's cup or bust here, still in Edmonton. 2 straight cup finals, and they want to make it 3, buddy.
All right, and does this move the needle? Do they now finally have their goaltending for the next little bit? Do you believe that Edmonton is better off today when Tristan Jarry faces off against the Toronto Maple Leafs? Or is this just a Band-Aid for the bullet wound?
Well, so this is interesting. So if anyone's following us, again, follow us at hockey_2 to follow Pawel and myself at Renaerts on X specifically, guys, if you're following us, or some of you call it Twitter. So just posting out there, okay? The two differences is 0.6 on a 30 game, we expect 30 shots on goal a game in the average game. So 30 shots on net, with the difference in the save percentage between 909 or 8.89 or 891 for Skinner, literally results in a game at 0.6 goals less per game. Literally 0.6. So over a 30-game schedule, if Jarry plays, that's going to save between 16 to 18 goals. So when I did the breakdown, and some of you guys love your analytics, but to me, this is an analytic that's very important. When you can't perform, and especially in the playoffs, they talked about him being the difference. Against Dallas, he seemed to have been that guy. But I just want to break this down a little bit here. When it comes to your analytics, so that's called goals saved above expected. So Tristan Jarry has a plus 7.1, which is an above average starter. Stuart Skinner has a minus 5.3, which is a below average starter. He's also weak on rush chances and east-west plays. And he consistently gives up the early goals. Jarry is strong in those low danger and mid danger shots, and he is above average in the cross ice recovery. He is more of an athletic goalie. Now, he does make himself look smaller, but we already know Stuart Skinner does. And Stuart doesn't have that glove hand. And we've been noticing his lateral movements and so forth. So the difference, as I'm looking through this from every side of it, I mean, I'm going to lay stuff out on X and throw a bunch of stuff out there for you guys. I think what you've done is you just made Edmonton a contender. They're going to pick up an extra 5 to 6 wins between now and the end of the year. I expect them over 100 points now going into getting ready for the playoffs. 100-point season.
100%. And quickly, before we move over to the big other news in the Pacific, your thoughts for Pittsburgh on this move for Kyle Dubas?
So this was a good move. They've already got Seelovs, who they have actually been trusted. They got Mershov. They got Bloomquist that's sitting there. Both those guys, they didn't bring up. I think it's Mershov is how you say his name, the Russian goalie.
Mershov,
yeah. So they didn't bring him up, which is kind of surprising to folks right now. Just let him work his way in. He is a rookie right now. He kind of shellacked a game or two there. But the truth is they're going to let those guys build. This was not a playoff run season, but they obviously want to be competitive, get some experience in the playoffs. They're not ready to tank. They're not going for Gavin McKinnon, like I even said at the beginning of the year. And Skinner is a free agent at the end of the year. So right now, Skinner's going to be the backup to Seelovs, or they're going to co-share and see how that goes. Skinner can make his way into a good contract if he can perform really well. And who knows? Maybe they make the playoffs. They start Skinner, and he's a whole different player. Maybe they play the game that he needs to. I don't think it's going to work there. I think it's a short stop. And if they're not in the playoff race, I expect Skinner to be traded out to another team to be a backup for the contender team that's going to go fight for it.
Well, we're going to see what happens. So tune in on Wednesday when we get more in depth into this trade. But the other big news in the West, specifically in the Central, where you have now 3 juggernauts, you have the Minnesota Wild acquiring a legendary defenseman, Quinn Hughes, only 26 years old, in for Marco Rossi, Liam Ogren, Zeev Buem, who has been a phenomenal pick so far for the Minnesota Wild this year, and a 2026 first-round pick. Now, we don't know where that pick will end up because it depends on where Minnesota finishes this season. But, Evan, your thoughts on this trade, because this sent shivers down the hockey world yesterday because people were shocked that it even happened.
Well, it's interesting because I think a lot of people have been asking, when's the last trade this big? There's been talk. Erik Karlsson went to the Sharks. I don't compare that. This is a Norris Trophy guy. This is a player who is top 3 defenseman in the NHL. It could be even a number 1 on the right team. And what we're dealing with, I think this is the biggest trade that we've seen in the NHL since Patrick Waugh. Like, seriously. Wow. Minnesota Wild just pulled off, a Hail Mary here, threw it out there. They lost Zeev Buem, who is an incredible defenseman on the rise just in his sophomore season. They had to let go of Marco Rossi. But Quinn Hughes is a rare defenseman in today's NHL. He's not just an elite skater. He's not just a puck mover. But he's a true play-driving number 1 defenseman. And they don't get traded in our modern-day NHL. You look at teams that win Stanley Cups, they almost all have a dominant minute-eating defender. Cale Makar, Victor Hedman, Drew Doughty, Pietrangelo, Duncan Keith previously. Hughes belongs in those classes. And so he gives the Wild something they've never truly had, a defenseman who controls tempo, transition, and also will dictate how that game is played. So, we'll break that down more on Wednesday, but this is amazing, buddy.
This is what I call a great...
What's that, sorry?
Oh, this is what I call a great hockey trade. We don't see these enough. Oftentimes it's a pick, it's prospects. It's potentially something that in the future. These are both hockey trades. Now, I feel for the Vancouver fans because you're losing a generational talent there because of what he is. He has been probably one of the best, if not the best defenseman for that team. He's breaking records left, right, and center. And Vancouver knew that they weren't going to be competitive this year, but they also brought in Adam Oates this year to connect with Hughes, to potentially extend them. But they've lost a lot, and they need a direction. And I think the problem is that there was no specific identity. So it looks like they're going to sell. Potentially, they may get rid of a few more pieces, including Sherwood, maybe Garland. We'll see. But you think, what's Demko thinking right now? What's Pettersson thinking right now? A lot of questions around that team, but clearly Minnesota's in the hunt and looks at their division, looks at Colorado and Dallas and say, hey, you guys got Cale Makar and Miro Heiskanen? Well, we've got Quinn Hughes now. So this is a phenomenal trade. I love it. I want to see more of this. And Evan, you look at somebody like Bill Guerin, who's the GM for Team USA. He knows exactly what he's getting here because he's probably going to have him and Brock Faber play together, a righty and a lefty, for Team USA. So that's our essential thoughts. Any final thoughts on what's been going on before we wrap up here? It's a short, quick little thing, but we wanted to get into it because there's been a lot of speculation around both of these trades.
Well, and I'd just like to say, first of all, that I know sometimes you guys, when we're talking about things that are hot out there, there's some things that when there is smoke, there is fire. This goes back to when we even had our debates back when Duncan Keith got moved over to Edmonton days. You hear about it, you see it, you read the body language of players, right? We knew something big was happening on McDavid front also because of what we were hearing. It did not make sense. And watching Quinn Hughes' language, it doesn't surprise me if Quinn Hughes was not a part of this saying, I want out. I could definitely have saw that, and they had no choice but to make a move. And this is probably the best move they were going to make. Remember how you asked me, I believe it was our last show, and you said, out of the trades, what do you think of the offers? And I said, I don't see a single offer I would even take. I probably would take this offer. I think, getting a first, getting Zeev Buem. I think at worst, Zeev is going to be a number 3 defenseman, right? On that second line, kind of shoring it up. Matthias Ekholm minimum.
Rossi as a center potentially in front of or behind Kampf. We'll see what happens
and a
there.
first-round draft pick, even if it's a 28-30. Yeah. So,
yeah.
But think
and
of
they
it.
also put Lucas Reichel on waivers today after acquiring him from Chicago. So who knows if he'll be picked up. Go ahead.
Yeah, what did they give up? A 6th-round draft pick to get him?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden he's put on waivers. So I suspect there'll be a trade. He'll probably, if he doesn't get claimed, there could be a trade with someone because it's money in, money out sometimes. But they need to clear up Scott. So right now, I mean, that when you're looking in the West, you now have Edmonton and Vegas and Colorado and Dallas, and now at Minnesota. They have just become. This is probably the best team I have seen in Minnesota since the North Stars went to the finals against Mario Lemieux and the Pittsburgh Penguins.
And there's two things also. There's no guarantee that Quinn Hughes extends with what's it called? Although he has one more year left after this, as well as Kirill Kaprizov's deal doesn't take effect till next season. So just remember, Minnesota Wild fans, you still have a little bit of time, and there's still some finagling that Bill Guerin can do. But that's it for us tonight. Any final thoughts before we wrap up? It's a quick, a one hot take trade speculation video from us today. Any final thoughts, Evan?
Yeah, well, guys, just look for Kiefer Sherwood next, and I wouldn't doubt if they can pull something, it'll be Elias Pettersson going in the trade deadline or in the offseason. So it's going to be 100%. A new team in Vancouver.
And just keep an eye out also for Buffalo. It sounds like there's rumblings about changing Kevin Adams as GM, but we'll get more into that every Wednesday night. This Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. We're always here checking in. Make sure to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter /X at Revenev or myself hockey_2. Enjoy the hockey on Saturday night. Enjoy your evening. Hope you're staying warm wherever you are. Have a great night. And as always, as we say, Evan, in the meantime and in between time,
keep your sticks on the ice.
Stay safe. Have a good night, guys.
Cheers.